Hi everyone, I'm Leonardo Nam and I am an actor. You may have seen me in things like Westworld or MacGyver that's on right now, but rather than giving you a whole rundown of my resume, I want to get down to what we're cooking today here for the Taste of Cincinnati. So I wanted to share something from my home kitchen to yours. I grew up in Australia and I'm ethnically Korean. But one of the things that my family used to always do was after church they would do like a friends and family gathering, and you'd eat afterwards. And so this is one of the dishes that we would share with everyone. It's actually a Vietnamese inspired dish that we used in Australia. That has like kind of a bit of a Korean twist too. Anyway, so I'm going to share it with you. So the first thing you need to do is we're going to be using a lot of lime. So one trick I've learned is if you have lime in the fridge or what have you, you just pop it in the microwave for about 10 seconds thereabouts, and then all the juices start flowing. So 10 seconds, there we go. As that's happening, we're going to be doing something of an array of vegetables. It's going to be like what I call summer rolls. It's Vietnamese, Korean summer rolls. So, mine's ready. So, nice and warm. So what we're going to be doing is cutting up a whole bunch of vegetables and arranging them on a plate. Eventually we're going to get to a place where we're going to roll them up. Also going to be making a sauce and what have you, but let's start with the veggies. So, there's an array of veggies that you're going to want to eventually cut and put in. I'm starting off with some tomatoes. You cut these suckers up, place them on a plate. Around here, I'm going to do some celery as well. So right now it's going to be just a whole bunch of chopping up veggies, some mushrooms. Really, it's anything you kind of want, you know. I like these veggies, and what I like about this dish as well is that you're actually able to scale up or scale down, really. So in this time of, all of us eating at home and quarantining, we're always trying to find and figure out new kind of dishes to do, and this is a great dish to do with family, because you're able to essentially make them yourselves. They're kind of like, I call them like little tacos, really, because you kind of have to make them yourself. I have 3-year-old twin boys, and they can't really make this themselves. So they've got to be a little older than 3. But anyway, so now I'm going to cut up a little bit of onion as well. Arrange them all on a plate here. And so I have a little bit of a carrot here as well. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm julienning all of the vegetables, which means I am it's a fancy way of saying just shredding them, really. So if you can find any of these veggies in your store, pre-cut, pre-shredded, go ahead and do that, because it's going to save you a lot of time. So essentially what I have here, I've always wanted to do this. This is a plate I've prepared earlier. So as you can see here, we have shredded lettuce, some bell pepper. I like red or some other kind of color to make it pop. I have some onion. I like red onion. I like the kind of taste. We have some cucumber, some mushroom, cilantro, very important in regards to the taste. I'll show you why later. Some celery, some tomatoes and carrots. And then this is another herb that you're going to need, or herb as you say in America. We're going to need some mint. That really gives it a pop. So essentially you're going to end up with a plate similar to this. So this is the dish that you can put in the middle, and everybody kind of grabs what they want. So having said that, what we're next going to do is we're going to make the marinade for the meat that you're going to choose, that you will choose to use. So I'm going to use pork. I like a loin of pork, and so what I've used here is this guy right here. So I use about a pound of pork for this. So anything really. You can use chicken, you can use beef, you can go veggie, or you can go vegan if you'd like. The marinade is pretty much the same. It's going to use a little bit of sweet, salty, and then if you would like to add some chili, you can. I'm not going to use chili in this iteration because I'm going to be attempting to eat this with my kids, but you can definitely add a little bit of chili. So start off with, if you have a pound of pork, I start off with about, this is 1 teaspoon. I start off with 2 teaspoons of sugar. Sugar. Next you're going to use something called nước mắm, which is a Vietnamese fish sauce, really. And so you can find this in the Asian food aisle, or if you go to an Asian supermarket. Lots of supermarkets seem to have this now. When I grew up, this was hardly ever anywhere, really, only in the specialty stores. It does have a bit of a smell, but you won't smell it when you're actually cooking it or when you're eating it. It's just right now coming right out of the bottle. Anyway, so we're going to use about 1 teaspoon of this. It is rather salty, so that's where you get a lot of the salt from. And then next we're going to use some soy sauce. So again, 2 teaspoons of this. All right. And then we're going to use a lot of lime. So for about a pound, I'm going to use approximately about 2 limes in this. So to squeeze this lime in there, 1 in there. I'm going to cut these guys up. Oh, nice and warm again. By heating them up, it's easier to not only squeeze out the juice, but more juice comes out of it too, because if you leave it in the fridge, it kind of tends to harden up. So once again, here we go. We're also going to need to use these limes for the sauce. So I'm going to use about a cup. I'm going to use about 4 limes in this. Putting it in a separate container. Okay, so now back to the marinade. Now that I'm focusing on the marinade, sorry. So next we're going to use some pepper. Grind up a bit of pepper, and then we're going to use cumin. About half a teaspoon of cumin goes into this. Gives it a nice kind of deep flavor. And then we're going to use, you can use fresh garlic as well, but for this I'm going to use just about half a teaspoon of garlic powder. So you let this guy kind of marinate. You let it sit around for a bit. Make sure that it's all covered well. I like to put it in a Ziploc bag right after. And you'll see this is something that I have done earlier. Again, something I've always wanted to say in a cooking demo. So you'll see here in the actual bag itself, I've marinated it. It's nice and easy. It's easy to grill and cook afterwards. So you let it sit for anywhere from, I'd say, half an hour to overnight if you'd like, if you have the time. That works out rather well. So next thing we're going to do, let that sit for a while, let it marinate. And then we're going to go out and grill it. In the meantime, what we're going to do is continue on with the sauce. So it's the sauce that we're going to drizzle inside of the actual summer rolls. So we're going to need some more limes. So we started off with a couple more limes. Let me wash my hands. There you go. So we're going to squeeze out, I'd say, about 4 limes into this. I love this guy. This guy saves the day all the time. You get right on in there, you get lots of lime juice right out of that. I really like this dish, especially in the summer, because it is rather light, and you're going to see that it's just tons of vegetables, and you can make any kind of iteration that you want. I like that, you know, not so many rules, just your own flavor, your own mouth, really. Okay, now back into this. We're going to use again this nước mắm sauce, which is fish sauce. I like the way it sounds to say Nick Mom. Nick Mom. Anyway, so here is the fish sauce again. Woo! All right, lovely. So we're going to use about 2 teaspoons of that. And then next we're going to use about, here we go, half a tablespoon of sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Mix this guy up. Some pepper. And then one of the things that I love to use inside of this is a little trick that I learned a while ago is pineapple. So I like to use the pineapple juice of it and little chunks of it. So I've got crushed pineapple here. It's just a nice little, kind of adds a little citrus, but also a lot of sweetness to it. So dig some of that in there. There you go. Get some of the chunks out. Here we go. Ooh. And there we go. Get some of this crushed pineapple in there, because what you're going to end up doing is with the sauce itself, you're going to have parts of the pineapple that's in there. So it is rather delicious, I will say. And so in that, we're going to need to use some fresh garlic. And now in this time of quarantine, I don't think you need to worry about whether you got garlic breath or not. So, and especially if you're all eating this together, the best way to kiss someone with garlic breath is to have garlic breath yourself. All right, here we go. So I like to crush it first and then dice this sucker up. There we go. So about 1 garlic clove is enough. Again, I like to do a last little squeeze. Another trick I've learned is that if you want to really mince and grate the garlic itself, you put a little coarse sea salt on it, and then you use your knife, and then you kind of just mush it around like that with the side of your blade. What ends up happening is you activate a lot of the taste cells inside of the garlic, and also it makes it kind of mushy and beautiful and delicious. So, all right, there we go. Now, let's taste that up. It's kind of pineapple-y, sweet, has a little bit of that garlicky kind of punch and taste. So what I am going to add to this actually is a little touch of soy. So, there we go. Let's taste this now. That does the trick. Okay, so now to this, we're going to add some cilantro. Now, cilantro adds another layer of flavor to this, which I really, really like. And one trick I've learned actually is when I buy cilantro or any kind of herb rather, I put a paper towel in there, I wash it, then wash the herbs itself, dry them out, and then put it inside of a Ziploc bag with a paper towel, because then it keeps it dry and ready to use for next time. All right, so here we go, chop, 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 chop. All right, now we chuck this in here. Give that another mix and a little taste. Boom. All right. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way. Now that all this is done. And I'm going to bring this guy back. So now that we have that there, I'm going to move this out of the way too. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you some of the meat and how to assemble this. So this is part of the meat that I grilled already. It's the pork loin. And so here you go. Next up, I'm going to slice that up. Now, if you're able to see, ooh, It's so lovely. I cut them into thin kind of pieces here because you're going to be laying them down. And so, especially with pork, you want to cook it all the way through. But this is a lovely, lovely, lovely light pink. And you can eat it light pink, so make sure that it is thoroughly cooked. And so now this is the fun part. So, well, let me put this sauce in here. A nice little container for you. So what we're going to now do is we're going to start to make the rolls. So this is the fun part. So what you're going to need to use is something that's a spring roll wrapper. It's a rice paper wrapper. And this brand itself has a rose on it. It's called Ba Trang, but I'm probably butchering that, but that's what it says there. I like this brand, but you can use whichever brand you want. I kind of think they have a little bit of they stand up well. So these guys come out like this, these round ones, right? And they're paper thin, literally, rice paper. And so the trick with this is you can use warm water, or honestly really just cool water is fine too. It will get kind of thin and moist and floppy, so you gotta watch out. You gotta look out for them. So you dip them in. I'm going to show this in here. Dip them in here about 2/3 of the way. I'd say about probably about 5 seconds. You know, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Okay, turn around the other side. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Okay. So it's still a little bit hard. You can see it can still keeping its shape, which is what you want, because it's going to kind of start to get softer and softer as you go along. So here we go. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to layer it in, right? So we're going to layer in one part of. I like to start with the lettuce at the beginning. Then you will put in. Put it up here so you can see some of the bell peppers. And so what I tried to do is, let me see if I can show you this on a better plate. So is that I use about 1/3 of the piece here. So I use it up until about 1/3 of the actual circle there. So I roll it up there. I layer in some bell peppers, some cucumber. I'm now going to put in some onion. I'm going to put in some carrots along the way, some tomato, celery, some mushrooms, and now some cilantro. Cilantro, just the leaves along here. And so then I'll put in some mint leaves. Just adds a nice little taste to it. And then we have the pork along here. We're going to layer in the pork so that we have right there. And now, this is what I love. I add some chips. Why not? Have a little crunch to it. And then this is the other key element to me, peanut butter. So I use a chopstick, good old chopstick, one chopstick. I get a little bit of peanut butter on one side, and I let it kind of paint it along the way here. Yeah, there we go. Now, trusty spoon, some sauce, drizzle it along down the roll here. So this is the trick that I use. So what you're going to first want to do is fold in the last third. So if you can see here, the last third, I fold in here, and then I'm going to fold this part over. So we're going to make essentially like a little open burrito on one side. So we're going to open it, fold it over, like that. Roll it all the way around, keep rolling it around, so that you eventually end up with something like this. So you roll it around, open on one side, close on the bottom, and that's it, really. Bon appetit, let's have a taste of it. I love it with the crunch of the chips, and then the mint kind of adds a little freshness to it, and the pineapple, a little deliciousness. I love that. Just gonna add a little more, and ta-da! You're done. All right, guys. So happy I could share this with you guys. Something from my my family kitchen growing up in Australia, and I'm so happy that I can share this with you guys. I hope I see you guys again soon, and stay safe, wash your hands, and my love to Cincinnati. Bye, guys.